service 1?
Yeah,
Good. As long as I hear the page numbers, I'm cool.
we're gonna call out the page numbers, yeah. So, well, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, but these are the ones, but it's the same as in the email.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a big one. I can't lift that. Don't worry, they're Jewish. They come a half hour late.
We have to ask some people to do certain things. We've already gotten some.
Let's see. Put this on music.
this working? Well, those of you who were at Torah study, Rabbi Lawson set this up for us because he mentioned the book, A God We Can Believe In, edited by our own Rabbi Agler. And Ronnie and I have read it, and we got really excited about it. It's basically a series of essays about ways that we as modern liberal Jews can think about the concept of God differently. So today...
You should tell them who we are.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Mimi.
And I'm Ronnie.
Today what we did is we really worked hard putting this together, thinking about it, trying to include some of those ideas where we could in the English. So we've made some changes in the English that we'll be reading. So we'll read those passages, not to confuse everybody. We certainly haven't changed the Hebrew. The other thing I was just going to say is that along these same lines, just for your information, another rabbi who's been helpful to me in reading some of her things is Rabbi Toba Spitzer, who writes on metaphors for God, which I also found really helpful. So, if you have questions about stuff, ask us at the ONEG. Anyway, welcome.
And there is one change that we try to remember to make in Hebrew, instead of saying melech, to say ruach, spirit.
Along the lines of Rabbi Spitzer or something.
All right. This is a woman's meditation by Ruth Bryn. When men were children, they thought of God as father. When men were slaves, they thought of God as a master. When men were subjects, they thought of God as a king. But I am a woman, not a slave, not a subject, not a child who longs for God as father or mother. I might imagine God as teacher or friend, but those images like king, master, father, or mother are too small for me now. God is the force of motion and light in the universe. God is the strength of life on our planet. God is the power moving us to do good. God is the source of love springing up in us.
Page 10, Hine Matov. On page 67, I enter the sacred space to voice the longings of my heart in prayer. In the sacred company of this, our holy community, I devote myself this morning to psalm and song, study and prayer. May my heart be lifted, may my thoughts be deepened, and may my soul make like the eagle soar. So on page 72, if you are going to wear a tallis today, please join us in the prayer. In the middle of the page, Baruch atah Adonai. I am grateful that the body was formed with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings. It is well known that, page 76. It is well known that if one of them be wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure. And in Hebrew, Baruch atah Adonai Rofei kol basar halasot.
I have to note, in case it's not obvious, we have both never done this before.
Yeah. Page 80. 80. I need some help with the melody here.
Page 85, David, will you please come up and read that?
I am a Jew because of the faith of Israel demands no abdication of my mind. I am a Jew because the faith of Israel requires all the devotion of my heart. I am a Jew because in every place where suffering weeps, the Jew weeps. I am a Jew because at every time when despair cries out, the Jew hopes. I am a Jew because the world of Israel is the oldest and the newest. I am a Jew because Israel's promise is the universal promise. I am a Jew because for Israel the world is not completed. We are completing it. I am a Jew because for Israel humanity is not created. We are creating it. I am a Jew because Israel places humanity at its unity above the nations and above Israel itself. I am a Jew because above humanity, image of the divine unity, Israel places the unity which is divine.
Thank you. Page 88. These are the things that are limitless. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. And the study of Torah encompasses them all. And just a note, you may be noticing that we're leaving out some passages that we didn't like, that were too God supernatural, guy in the sky stuff.
At the top of page 89, the covenant calling and covenant work goes on in each act of teaching and learning of the Torah, through which at the same time God is still being revealed. And 93 at the bottom. Why fix prayers? To learn what we should value, what we should pray for, to be at one with our people, the household of Israel, to ensure that the ideals painfully learned and purified, and for which many have lived and died, shall not perish from the community, and shall have a saving influence upon the individual.
Going to do Hallelujah on page 100. Page 106, please rise for the Hatzi Kaddish. 106. The Yotzer can be found on page 110. We're reading in Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or oseh shalom v're'ah hame'ir la'aretz la'adamim aleha v'rachamim u'ktuvot l'kadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reshit ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai kulam b'chokma asita
הארץ קנייניך,
תתברך אדוני אלוהינו על שם מעשה ידיך
ועל מורה אור שעשית. יברך סלע, אור חדש על ציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו. ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר האורות.
Page 112 in the middle. Bechar Erinenu.
Page 114, the Shema, and we are going to, please stand, we're going to do in honor and memory of Eric Winston, we're going to do his version of the Shema in which we do each word as one long, long breath, as long as you can hold it, and then go on to the next word. Ready? Page 116, V'ahavta. page 117. Jerome, would you like to come up and read this responsibly? You start the first paragraph, please. Oh, at least he did.
117. This one. Doesn't that work? Oh, here, take this one.
If we can hear the words from Sinai, then love will flow from us, and we shall serve all that is holy with all our intellect and all our passion and all our life.
If we can serve all that is holy, we shall be doing all that humans can to help the rains to flow, the grasses to be green, the grains to be glowing like the sun, and the rivers to be filled with life once more.
All the children of God shall eat, and there will be enough. But if we turn from Sinai's words and serve only what is common and profane, making gods of our own comfort or power, then the holiness of life will contract for us. Our world will grow inhospitable.
Let us therefore place these words into our passion and our intellect, and bind them as a sign upon our hands and eyes. Let us write them in uses of it on our doors, and teach them to our children.
You did well. And let us all say, Amen.
122, Mihamaka. Please take a few minutes to complete the Amida silently if you wish, or for prayers in your heart. A poem, Between, by Rabbi Harold Schulweis. God is not in me nor in you, but between us. God is not me or mine, nor you or yours, but ours. God is known, not alone, but in relationship, not as a separate, lonely power, but through our kinship, our friendship, through our healing and binding and raising up of each other. I pray and celebrate the betweenness which binds and holds us together. And even when I am alone, I am sustained by my memory of our betweenness and the promise of our betweenness. God is not in me, or in you, or in God's self, but in betweenness, and it is there we find the evidence of God's reality and our own.
Yismichu on page 132.
We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Page 140, Sim Shalom. Adonai Hamavorech et Amo Yisrael Bashalom. Page 244, we're going to start the Torah service, and we call John Ure to the bima to help us.
Shelter
said he sent it for me. Damn. All right. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Janice Alper, and I have the privilege of reading Torah today. I want to tell you what I'm reading, and then we'll discuss it a little bit. First of all, I'm reading from the book of Exodus, Shemot, chapter 8, verse 1. I don't have any pages, so look at the top of your Chumash. It'll say chapter 8, it'll say the verses, and it's chapter 8, verse 1. I picked this is all about the plagues. And this is the third plague, Tzfardayim, which are frogs. And I picked it for two reasons. And the first reason is because it breaks up into 3 aliyot. It was the easiest one to do. And the second reason I'll come to when we get into the line. I've asked Alan and I. And what's it short for? What was like the Venda Numen? What was the Numen? Endi. From where?
Ukraine.
From the Ukraine. Okay. It was Endikovich or something. Anyway, Alan will be gabbaying for me, and there'll be 3 aliyot. So you want to call them, or shall I? Here, just do it. Just do it.
Some people didn't hear the chapter.
Chapter 8, verse 1. Three aliyot. Chapter 8, verse 1.
She really picked this because of the difficulty of the words.
Yeah, it is very hard Hebrew.
Yamdu, Rishon, those, it's our custom for those who are observing a yahrzeit to come forward for the first aliyah.
I'm Shoshana Bat Avraham Vizimra.
Rav Yosef Ben Ephraim.
Bless you.
Baruch Hu Adonai HaBarach. Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Yes, you should have done that first. Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe. God spoke to Moshe. Now remember, God only talks to a very few people. Okay? Emor el Aharon. Say to Aaron, Aaron's his spokesman, you know that. Nata et yadecha b'meitecha el hana'arim al ha'ya'arim va'al ha'agamim He should stretch out his hand over all of the waters, over the rivers, the canals, and the lakes. V'ha'al et hatzfardayim al eretz Mitzrayim, and frogs will come upon the land of Egypt. Vayet Aharon et yado. Aharon stretched out his hand. Al mimei Mitzrayim, over the waters of Egypt. V'ta'al hatzfardaya, and the frogs, v'tachas et eretz Mitzrayim, covered all of Egypt, all the land of Egypt. V'ya'asu ken what is it again? Hachar tamim. It's a word I stumble over. It's really hard Hebrew. Biltehem. So the magicians did the same thing. V'ya'alu et hatzvardayim el eretz Mitzrayim. And the frogs covered the whole land. Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nota b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. We are in Shiva for my stepfather, Mort Goodman, who passed in the middle of the night very peacefully on Tuesday.
This is the yard side of my mother, Tirza Bat Yitzchak Dov.
The yard side of our daughter, Talia Faith Agler, 12th years.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Good things, good things, good things, good things, good things.
I'll stay.
Good things.
Good things.
Simcha.
Shoshana bat Avraham Aron v'Zimra.
Shalom. Shmuel Yochanan ben Avraham v'Tzara.
Here, now you kiss him.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaBarach. Baruch Adonai HaBarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
I just lost my place. Okay. Amen. We're on verse 4. Vayikra Paro l'Moshe u'la'Aharon vayomer. So Pharaoh called Moshe and Aaron, and this is what he said. Ha'atiru el Adonai. Please plead with your God. Vayisar hatzafardayim mimeni. Get rid of these frogs from me. Ume'ameh, from my waters. Ve'eshlecha et ha'am vayizbechu. And I will send you out so that you may do your sacrifice. And this is the second reason I chose this. Because if you look in Plout, I studied this a few years ago. If you look in Plout, they say one of the reasons the Israelis revolted is because they wanted to do this sacrifice in the desert, and Pharaoh wasn't letting them. So we have this allusion to it here in Shemot. And that's the second reason I chose this, because this has this allusion to the sacrifice. Vayizbechu l'Adonai, that you will sacrifice to God. Vayomer Moshe. So Moshe said to Pharaoh, Ha'ipa'er Eli, you have this triumph over me. L'matai etir lecha u'la'avadecha u'la'amecha l'hakrit ha'tefardayim mimecha u'mevetecha. So you have this triumph over me for now, but should I plead on behalf of your people that the frogs be gone from here and left only in Be'er? This is an interesting word. It's translated as the Nile, but Be'er in modern Hebrew, right, Rabbi, is a fountain, right? So it's very interesting, but the Nile is really big. So how it becomes a fountain. And so Pharaoh replies, Vayomer, L'machar, do it tomorrow. Vayomer. So Moshe says, Kedevrecha l'man tada ki ein kadonai Eloheinu. Now you know there is none like our God. V'saru hatzvardayim mimecha uveitecha ulimei avedecha ume'amcha rak be'er hashrena. And the frogs will be gone from your homes, from your workplaces, and from among your people, and will remain only in the Nile. That's it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam notav b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. So my dad has been seeing this wonderful woman, Ethel Adato, who used to be the principal of the Torah High School here at Beth Israel. They lease the space on the 3rd floor. And she is a fabulous, fabulous woman. We love her dearly. Her grandson and his wife were expecting a little boy, and he was born in the 5th month. A pound, maybe a pound, 2 ounces. He was in the hospital 145 days. They brought him home on Sunday. And she got to hold him for the first time on the sofa in her grandson's house, and it was the most magical and marvelous and miraculous moment, and I wanted to share that amazing miracle and joy with you.
I cannot top that.
It's not a
I had not intended to come up today, but I've come up for 2 reasons that make me very happy. First of all, the immense joy with which you two are conducting the service today, that you're enjoying doing it so much, is marvelous. And secondly, this is the first time since I began to come to the lay Minyan over 2 years ago that I've been invited to participate in it, and that brings me great joy.
Yes, I mentioned the yard side of our daughter. Some of you may know this. There's a shelter for girls, trafficked, abused, exploited, etc. girls, named in her memory in Africa for her. It's the Talia Agler Girls Shelter in Nairobi, Kenya. Within the last 2 weeks, we've received 2 major gifts for that shelter. So it continues to be strengthened and prospered. And in fact, just the other day, a video of one of the girls' stories was released by the U.S. Department of Labor and the International Labor Organization. Yeah, wow is right. And we can talk about how you can get a chance to see that. But with today is the yard site by the Hebrew calendar, and which is, well, we're grateful to be able to have good news to share as well, which I'm grateful for. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yom Tu Shlishi. 3rd Aliyah. Anyone want it?
Oh, they're coming.
2, 3, 4.
Come on. Just come on.
Come on, all right. Hannah Fega bat Yaakov Shoshana.
Miriam bat Simcha Varina.
Hello, Yisrael ben Yehuda v'Pashalaya.
Not yet.
Ronnie bat Shmuel ve'Karnit.
Meir Yaakov ben Eliyahu.
Thank you. Amen. Vayetze Moshe v'Aharon me'am Paro. Moshe and Aaron went out from among Pharaoh. Yitz'ek Moshe el Adonai. The translation says Moshe cried out to Adonai, but Yitz'ek means he really shouted at him. Al Devar HaTzvardeim, about the matter of the frogs. Asher Sham LeParo, that were put upon Pharaoh. Vayas Adonai Kedabar Moshe. So God did what Moshe asked. Vayamtu HaTzvardeim min habatim, min hachatzarim, umin hasadot. So the frogs went out, were eliminated from the houses and from the courtyards and from the fields. Vayitzveru otam chamaram chamaram v'ha'ba'esh ha'aretz. And they were piled up in heaps, and the land stank from them. Vayad Paro. So Pharaoh took notice. Ki hayata haravacha v'hakabed et libo. He saw that everything was relieved. It was a good spirit, and his heart got hardened. V'lo shama Elohim kasher diber Adonai alehem. And he didn't let them go as God had predicted.
Baruch
All right. We're back. We were in Washington, D.C. Bert had a meeting of law teachers, the annual meeting. But the best part of the whole thing was that we got to take our 17-year-old grandson with us. And so we had a wonderful time exploring Washington, mainly going to art museums and eating good food. And what's that?
I said, I wonder why.
I wonder why, right.
You go.
We are here to kind of celebrate that we're leading services for the first time, and for me, it's something I never would have dreamed of doing, except Howard kind of roped us into it. But we were actually thinking of doing something like this someday in the future. But Howard said January 13th, and we said, ah! And what's been wonderful about it, even though I was nervous and somewhat reluctant, was we really have connected over this very well. We were connected before, but
We
even
spent
more
a
so.
lot of time on this.
Yeah, many meetings, yeah, but we're happy that, thank you, Howard.
As most of you know, I was a public school teacher back in the day in Columbus, Ohio. In the 70s, I taught junior high. In the 80s, that became middle school. And in the 90s, I went to the high school. I got a very odd phone call from the temple the end of last week saying there's somebody trying to get a hold of you. And I said, who? And they gave me a name, and they sent me this email that they had received. And it wanted my contact information, which the temple quite correctly refused to give. But what they said was to the person, we'll send it to Marty, and if he wants to contact you, he will. And I looked at it, and I didn't recognize much of this. But after about a week, middle of this past week, I thought, I do know that name. It was a young lady I had had for 3 years. I used to teach 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, a couple classes of each. And it was an odd coincidence. I had less than 10 students for 3 years, but I got most of the students in the building at one time or another. And thought, how the heck did she track me down? That was in the 1970s.
So nice.
The mid-1970s. So I became curious, and I thought, I can hang up quickly if I'm annoyed. And I contacted this person. And yes, it was a former student of mine. And she had gone on the internet. They can track you down. Oh, I mean, I'm thinking, this is Columbus, Ohio, and she tracks me down to a temple in San Diego. This was some detective work, I imagine. And I said, well, it's nice to hear from you. What's up? She said, it became very important to me to contact you and to thank you because I have developed I was teaching history, a deep love of history. And I'm a voracious reader, and I love reading history, and I love following the news because I also taught a class of contemporary issues. And she says, that has so affected my life, and as she's now in her 60s, Kanina Hora, and
So will you.
I wish. And she said, I was looking back on my life as I'm getting near Social Security, and I began to realize this guy really had an effect on me, and I wanted to thank you. And so that, I'm only now are my feet starting to touch the ground again. I've been walking on air.
That's a good demonstration of why we teach. At this meeting in Washington, I made a presentation to my fellow law teachers on the subject of authentication of fine art.
You're an expert on that? Okay, thank you, Larry.
I'll do that first before we should go off. Okay, so we'll do it now. Misha Beirach on page 252. Oh, and yeah, and people, please come up if you have names that you want. Oh, we're going to do it by your seats. Stand up or raise your hand if you have somebody you want to.
Sam Kamen, Abby Thomas, Glenn J. Harris, Ellen Kahn, Adele Levy, Herb Lubick, Jim Malkus, Sim Oppenheimer, Sharon Ritter, Rhonda Schwartz, Sandy and Dan Lynn, Deborah Fisher, Cheney Langford, David Kroll, and Stephanie Heinz.
Becky Jesus Vasquez.
My cousin Cheryl Whitman, Debbie Simmons, Mark Booth, Kathy Booth, and Eddie Booth.
Manny? Oh, okay. Janice?
David Kroll, John Lewis, and Larry Alexander.
The Wergeles family, Ned and Carla Silver, and Dean and Joe Allen Schultz.
Tara Bright Schulman, Bill Costello, Bonnie Barron, and Fern Platt Hall.
Torah, Asher Samoshe, Lifnei Bnei
Page 256. We now call Brooke to the bima, who's going to give us our devar.
I just got it on my phone here. Let me pull it up really quick. Oh. Okay. This week's Torah portion, Exodus chapter 6, verse number 2, all the way up to chapter 9 and verse 35 is also known as Va'era. This was the first word spoken by God in this parsha, meaning I appeared in Hebrew. In last week's Torah reading, Shemot, we received the story of Moses and the burning bush. This story has always been one of my favorites and was a crucial turning point for me in my discovery of Judaism. Today, I feel very lucky to give my very first devar on the following portion and deepen my understanding of the Torah. The title itself of Va'era is a very impactful one to me due to the number of times my higher power had appeared to me to show me that I had to make a change in my life. Like in my personal story, God came to Moses to tell him he needed to confront the Pharaoh about the freedom of the Israelites, as well as how God appeared to the Pharaoh in the form of plagues in this story. I also care very much about the impact of climate change, and the themes of the plagues, I believe, also allude to this. The relationship of power and the Pharaoh having the ability to stop these natural disasters, but he still would not. In chapter 6, God appeared to Moses to encourage him to speak to the Pharaoh of returning to the land of Canaan. Moses was to be prepared for the Pharaoh's rejection despite his requests. In this chapter, there is also a recount of Aaron's relation to Moses. Chapter 7 is the fascinating story of when Aaron's staff turned into a serpent. He and Moses approached Pharaoh Ramesses, and he did as God said. He would not let their people free from Egypt. So they stuck out their staff at the Pharaoh, and something quite magical happened. I'm out of breath a little bit. The Pharaoh ordered all the other magician-like citizens to turn their staff into snakes, as well as to try to intimidate the two men. Luckily for them, their serpent was the most powerful of all and ate all the other staff-serpent hybrids. Even then, Ramses still refused, thus beginning the plagues. First, the water in the Nile River turned to blood, and the citizens of Egypt were made to suffer without clean water and killed all their fish. Still, no changes to the verdict were made, so Moses and Aaron infested the city with frogs. Chapter 8 continues with the plagues, specifically dealing with the swarms of frogs and insects. Both times, Moses and Aaron pleaded and negotiated with the Pharaoh to no avail. The last chapter, chapter 9, continued with the deaths of the Egyptians' livestock, skin boils caused by magic soot, and the heaviest hailstorm the nation had ever seen. Finally, after so much destruction and pain caused on his citizens, the Pharaoh had admitted his wrongdoings. Unfortunately, because Moses put in his extra 2 cents and killed their wheat and barley, the Pharaoh had still not let them go. For me personally, I relate to this story because of my struggles with mental health and addiction. I had to get beaten down again and again until I reached a point where I had to take accountability for my actions and to be responsible and change my life for the better. It also makes me think of the current events related to climate change, where we have seen a steady increase of natural disasters and the global temperatures rising for the past several years. Many groups have made action into preventing a point of no return, but the outcomes will not be ensured unless the culprits of pollution are tested themselves. When corporate conglomerates lose their product or workers, that may be the moment they are pushed to enforce different standards within their company, just like the Pharaoh. A lesson one may learn from this story is to be aware of the signs your God has shown you before they become unmanageable. And now acknowledge your faults and become trusting of the way of it all before you have to deal with rivers of blood or swarms of frogs. In this, we can become prepared for next week's Parsha, Bo, the third portion in the book of Exodus, which prepares the Israelites to leave Egypt, thus beginning the story of Passover. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Brooke.
Thank you so much, Brooke.
I would like to offer this prayer for Israel. On today, the 100th day that the hostages have been taken. May Israel the nation and Israel the people be protected from harm from outside and from within. May the leaders of Israel be endowed with wisdom, ethical judgment, and empathy. May the people of Israel continue to be hopeful, innovative, and resilient, a light unto the nations. May people world over open their hearts and minds to the exceptional value of the innumerable contributions Israel has made to the world through science, medicine, technology, and culture, far out of proportion to its size. May people everywhere open their hearts and minds to the unique challenges Israel faces as the only democracy thriving in a hostile neighborhood. May Israel soon know peace and security, and let us say, Amen.
Thank you. Page 282, Alenu. Please stand.
Shelo
Kaddish. Could you please say stand and say the names for whom you're saying Kaddish as I go around? Could we all rise and join them in saying Kaddish?
Page 294.
Yit Kadah. Israel. Amen. May their memories be for a blessing. I believe Howard has announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. First of all, to the musician, Uzaz, Alan, Mary, thank you. You add so much to it. And how about those leaders for the first time? And the Torah reader, was that the first time?
She did a great job, right?
And how about Brooke, huh? I told you. We had a first 3 times today. You two leading, Brooke, and guess what the other one was? All 3 spots were women. Girl power. And I was thinking, and I was thinking, if only Leslie had been here. Huh? I got it. Okay. Love Alan, but Leslie would have been 5 out of 5. Pretty good. Anyway, next week, it's going to be a little bit different. Bert Lazaro is leading, and I saw him just left, so he's leaving and leading. Marty Stern will be reading Torah and delivering the drash. So, good Shabbos, everybody, outside.
It's not an announcement, but it's a request. I haven't had my hearing checked lately, but I think it's pretty good. And this bothers me every week, but I thought I'd say something today. I don't know if it's the acoustics, maybe you folks can hear, but sitting over there, I got about every 4th word of all the wonderful personal stories. I couldn't get the gist of it. Torah reading, I couldn't understand. If people would just use the microphone. And I'm also concerned about our YouTube feed. I haven't checked it, but if I can't hear it right there and it's not going in the mic, I don't know if people who are, and we have people who that's what they rely on to be with us. So I'm just making a plea to please everyone that's talking, try to use the mic.
Not only use the mic, but also project.
Yeah, project something. Right. And it does work better if you're head on to it rather than that way. This is absolutely the best.